Welcome back to Dodo's Den, where we talk about some of the best ways to navigate life that are endangered by society. We talk about them because if we don't, they might go extinct. I'm your host, Dorian, but you can call me Dodo, and today's topic is willpower isn't enough. So when you think of willpower, you probably think of a war movie, some type of cartoon or anime where the main character, or any character at any given point, kind of just does something. Maybe it's not giving up. Maybe it's simply getting to the bottom of that problem. Maybe it's just making something happen, having the willpower to do it. Willpower is a very fascinating thing. I feel like we all have a sense of willpower in us. I like to think I have a decent amount of willpower. But the reason willpower isn't enough is because it doesn't cover all areas of our goals and objectives. So in this episode, I'll be talking about why willpower isn't enough, when willpower isn't enough, and how willpower isn't enough. First off, we're going to talk about why willpower isn't enough. The reason why is pretty simple. If you say that something isn't going to happen, or if you say that something is going to happen, and maybe you succeed in your thought process, maybe you say it's not going to happen and it doesn't happen. Maybe you say it is going to happen and it does happen. And usually it's something within yourself. Willpower is strongly based on your own decisions and actions to either prevent something or make something happen. And when it goes along with what you said, we see that as willpower. But the reason it doesn't work is because what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong about saying, oh, I'm never going to do this again? Or, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to make sure this happens. And you're wrong. That's the simple why. It's because you don't have full control over anything. And willpower gives you that sense of thinking that you have somewhat control. And it really does help with that. But the truth is, it's never, ever going to be enough. You can always work hard to achieve something, but eventually reality is going to smack you in the face and tell you that it isn't going to work, or this is going to happen even though you said it's not going to happen. See, I was reading a book by David Goggins called Can't Hurt Me, and I don't want to spoil too much of the book. It's a great read, especially if you're an athlete or anyone into doing anything difficult. Maybe you're in the ultra runs or any type of strong-willed, hard things that you do. It really can be applied to so many different areas of your life. But towards the end of the book, David Goggins talks about how he was in the military for so long and he muscled through everything. He had so much willpower. And a lot of that book is based on his willpower. The fact that he could simply do so many things because he said he was going to do them. Or that when most other people would give up, he told himself, no, I'm not going to give up. But eventually, he hit a wall. He hit a wall because towards the end of the book, he talks about how he feels like he's dying. He tries to go out and run a couple miles at one point and he starts collapsing. He's used to running hundreds of miles and he can't even make it past a mile without almost feeling like he's going to die. He starts collapsing in random areas. I think one instance he collapsed in a restaurant when he was eating with his mother. And he was laying on his bed after going to the hospital multiple times and he looked up at the ceiling and he was like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die and I don't want to die. It's insane. And what he started doing is that he reflected on life. In that chapter, he's crying, he's thinking about all the things he wished he had done, and he's pretty successful, I guess, in the sense that he's done a lot of the things that he wanted to do, and he's a great example to other people, and he's pretty content with how he lived his life, but he doesn't want to die. He doesn't want to die, but at that point, you can't say, I'm not going to die if your time has come. But what he does as he's reflecting on life, he thinks about some guy in the past who taught him how to stretch, and he thought about how all these years he never worried about stretching because he always muscled everything, he went everything He went in everything, full force, willpower, all muscle, everything. He just did it because he could. And mental fortitude through everything. It was really astonishing how he did so much, but he hit a wall. His willpower couldn't bring him any further because he hit his limit. And he knew that if he didn't stretch like that guy taught him to in the past, he might actually die. So he started stretching. He started stretching every single morning for a couple years, I think. And he said he was more fit at age 43 than he was at 28. He was running faster than ever, doing better in the gym because he's stretching. And it's simple because willpower isn't going to get you past that barrier. He had to change something. He had to change his lifestyle. And maybe you think, oh, well, maybe it's willpower that he chose to not die. But you have to change some things about the way you live your life if you want to succeed. You can't just willpower everything. See, David Goggins knew that if he kept going about life the way he's always done it, just by going through everything, by saying he either wasn't going to give up or he was going to do something, it was going to kill him. It was going to literally ruin not only his career, but his life and the people around him because he was going to die. He was collapsing. He was going through serious problems. And the doctors didn't even say there was anything seriously wrong with him. It's just that he had ran out of that mental capacity because no matter how hard he wanted to keep pushing, he was just falling, quite literally falling on the ground. Willpower wasn't going to save him, so he had to change. He started stretching. He had to change the way he did things. See, my entire life, I've always thought that I could just do everything if I tried hard enough. Honestly, I'm talking about my own life. I'm a big believer that if you want something, you have to be persistent and you have to try. I think that's very true, and it's very helpful to anyone who wants to get a lot of things done in their life. But I always end up hitting walls. See, I'm a track athlete, and here in college, I'm not running my absolute best times on the track. And I realized that I've ran better in the past when I didn't try hard enough, or when I didn't try that hard. And I know it's so weird. You're thinking, oh, it's a sport where you run faster. Surely if you try harder to run faster, you'll go faster, right? But that's just not exactly the case. See, my freshman year, I was actually running faster times than I am now in my junior year. And it's honestly because I relaxed and I didn't care as much. I didn't try to willpower everything. I actually thought about taking it easy, setting myself up for a later part in the race. I run a lap around the track. That's one of my main events. And I know that you have to set yourself up for the end of that race because the end of that race sucks. You can't get to the end of that race if you just hit everything guns blazing, trying as hard as you can, at the start line, at the beginning, at the middle, at the finish. You can't keep that same pace. It just doesn't work like that. Why? Because your body is not designed to give full 100% effort all the time. You have to cut it up in different pieces, use different pieces at different times, whether that's races or anything else in my life. I've realized that willpower is not going to get me the results I want. This entire season, I haven't been running my exact best. I've been running season best, but not personal best. And as an athlete, it really hurts me to think that my freshman self, a kid that was 18 years old, I guess he was 19 at the time, and I'm 21, and that 19-year-old kid would absolutely dust me, man. It sucks. It sucks thinking about that, and it makes me depressed sometimes, but I gotta realize that I'm focusing too much on my willpower. I'm focusing too much on the fact that I think that if I keep trying hard enough, it's gonna work. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It does not work if you just try. You got to take it easy and you got to use it at the correct time. And sometimes willpower is simply you trying to tell yourself that you can do it. You can do it. You can do it because you said you can do it. The why of why willpower doesn't work is because you aren't designed to give your all the time. You aren't. There's other pieces and things that go into every single thing that you do. You can't just willpower everything. All my life, I've tried to willpower things and I've hit so many walls. And even now, I think that if I try so hard, it's going to happen. I've even had moments where I try to interact with people. There's been girls in my life that I thought maybe if I just show her that I'm interested, maybe if I just keep talking to her every single day, I never stop. I never focus on my own life and my own priorities. I just keep trying and trying and trying. And even though she said no or rejected me or anything, I just got to keep trying. Eventually she's going to crack and want to date me. But even if that happened, why? Why would I want that? Why would I want something that I had to try my absolute hardest to get? That's not love or appreciation. That's just doing something because someone tried so hard. See, willpower doesn't work. And that goes into my second point. When it doesn't work is when willpower just isn't the best option. Willpower isn't the best option to go about doing things when you're meeting people or you're doing something new. Think about if you just are getting into any sport or anything hard and you don't know anything about it. Think about if you're a runner or maybe a boxer. Oh yeah, if I try my absolute hardest, I'm going to be the best runner in the world. But you don't know anything about it. You can't willpower things when you don't have the correct amount of knowledge, especially if you're doing something wrong. Willpower doesn't work when you think that just because you're trying hard enough, it's going to work. When I had a crush on that girl and I kept trying and thinking that, oh, it's going to be okay because if I keep trying, she's going to want me. Or if I keep trying my hardest to win these boxing matches, I'm going to be the best boxer in the world. If I keep trying my hardest to win these races, I'm going to be the best runner in the world. But what do the actual best people in those areas all have in common? Experience, technique. The fact that they don't use their own willpower to do things. They understand that they have used so many different things to get them to where they are. You can't just be some random guy who walks into a bar and thinks that, oh, you're going to drink the most out of everyone in the bar just because you think you will. Think about the freaking old head, the 70-year-old guy that's been drinking for 30 years. And he looks at you and he's like, okay. And he outdrinks you within seconds. And he's like, dude, you can't do that. Or any other analogy you can think of. You can't just say something is going to happen when you don't know anything about it. There's been so many times in my life where I thought, just because I try hard enough, it's going to work. Just because I'm here and I sing that this isn't going to happen, or this is going to happen, my willpower is enough. But no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Because willpower isn't your best friend when you don't know anything that's going on. See, the reason my freshman self did so much better in track is because I knew how to run my races. Now I'm thinking that if I try harder because I'm older and I'm in a better position and I have more muscle, if I try harder, screw race plans, screw techniques, screw anything, I can just try harder. No, but I knew more about what I was doing. I knew what worked. I had so many more people pouring into me. I had good coaches telling me that if I did this a certain way, I would run better. And not to say I don't have good coaches now, I have great coaches. But my freshman self just did it because he used the knowledge of these different things, kind of like putting the puzzle pieces together And I saw it work with my own two eyes. I saw it work. And somehow I still managed to screw it up because now I'm running even slower than I did my freshman year because I'm thinking I just need to try harder. If I try harder to run fast, I'm going to get faster times. Surely. That's what everybody thinks. No. What if I told you that's not how it works? I'm a testament to that. Willpower does not work when you say it's going to. Willpower is a great tool because it can show you that you can be confident in the fact that your decisions, your actions are great. They have a lot of power and they can really help you do great things in your life. But the truth is that whenever you're trying to learn something, whenever you're trying to get better at something, that is not when you should use willpower. That is when willpower does not work because it just doesn't work like that. You're never, ever going to be as good as the person who knows more about you. Or I guess more about the thing that you want to be good at. Willpower is not going to save you in those situations. It will never, ever save you. Because I've been there plenty of times. I have seen dudes go up to girls and maybe I think they look worse than me. Maybe I think I have better skin, I have better hair, I have better teeth, whatever it may be. But I'm like, oh no, if I talk to this girl, if I can just keep trying and trying and trying, it's going to work. That's not when willpower works. Because you know what? The guy who maybe looks worse than me, but has more experience and he's done this plenty of times, he's going to beat me in that area. He's going to beat me. And I know he will. Just because he is better at that thing than me at that point in time. Willpower does not work when you want it to. Especially when you think that that's all you need. When you think that willpower is all you need to get through something, you're already done. Like you shouldn't even be doing that thing because everything, and I mean literally everything, has so much that plays into it other than just willpower, other than just saying it's going to happen because you're saying it's going to happen. That's not how life works at all. And that's not how willpower is going to save you either. Willpower is a tool, but it really can hurt you in certain scenarios. And that plays into my third point, how it doesn't work. How willpower doesn't work is because it gives you a false sense of confidence. A false sense of saying, oh, well, I said it's not going to happen, so it's not going to happen. What does that make you do? It makes you let your guard down. It makes you think just because you said it's not going to happen or you said it is going to happen, you're right. So you can let your guard down. A very specific example in the Bible is when Peter, one of the most well-known people in the Bible, he denies Jesus on 3 separate occasions. Jesus is talking to Peter in different parts of the Gospels, and he asks Peter if Peter loves him. And Peter's like, yes, I love you. And as Jesus asks him more and more if Peter loves him, Peter gets a little offended. He's like, and at the very final 3rd time, Peter's like, Lord, I love you. It offends me that you think I don't love you. I won't deny you. I love you. And nothing can take that away from me. And Jesus tells him, you will deny me. And Peter's like offended. I think he goes away crying because he's like, he doesn't believe in me. But Peter thinks, no, I know I won't. I love Jesus. I would never, ever do that. But what happens? Peter lets his guard down. And in the Bible, spoiler alert, Jesus is in a lot of trouble in various different points of the Gospels, and he's getting taken away. And a lot of Jesus's followers, Peter included, is getting bundled up into, this chaos, and they're wanting to take Jesus's followers too. And they look at Peter and they're like, do you know Jesus? Is that your boy? Is that your guy? And Peter's like, oh no, I don't know him. And Jesus is like, I'm pretty sure I told you that you were going to deny me. And Peter says it again, I don't know him. And the 3rd time, Peter's like, I don't know that man. Do not talk to me about him. I don't know who that is. And Peter looks over and he sees Jesus. A lot of different iterations of this story in movies or anything, you can see Jesus look at Peter through a crowd, and Peter can see Jesus. And I think when Jesus said when Jesus said that Peter was going to deny him, he said a rooster would crow or a bird would make a sound. And as Peter denied Jesus that third time, that bird made the sound, and Peter realized what he did, and he was ashamed. And that's just a very specific example of how willpower just isn't enough. It gives you the sense of confidence. Oh, I would never, ever do that. I make sure that will happen. You think you're confident in yourself just because you say it's enough. You just say it. You know it's not going to happen, or you know it is going to happen. But you saw it firsthand in the Bible. 3 different times Peter says, I love you, Jesus. I would never, ever. Peter was offended that Jesus even said this. Like, what do you mean? I wouldn't do that. And he did it. It played out in front of his face. And Peter realized, and he was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. He let his guard down. It's almost like he thought he didn't need to actively try to not think of doing this or actively try to use his willpower, because he knew it wasn't going to happen. He knew it wasn't going to happen. But despite what he thought he knew, it still happened anyways. And you see this in plenty different types of media or movies or different TV shows. One of my favorite animes is Naruto, and my favorite character of all time is Rock Lee. I have a poster of him right there on the wall. And Rock Lee, he has a fight in Naruto where he's going up against this guy named Gaara. And Gaara is really scary. Nobody wants to fight him. He has killed people. He doesn't talk. He's evil. And Rock Lee's like, I'm gonna kick this guy's tail. I'm beating this guy. And everybody counts Rock Lee out, and they're like, dude, you're not beating Gaara. Like, it's Gaara. Nobody's gonna beat that guy. And Rock Lee turns up. Like, he starts powering up. He starts getting these crazy flashbacks, and people are like, holy crap, who is this kid? Where did he come from? It's one of the best episodes of not even just anime, just anything in general. Like, I think it's a span of like 3 episodes. All of this goes on, backstory and everything, and you're rooting for the kid. You're like, holy crap, Rock Lee is about to beat Gaara, this evil guy that no one can ever beat, and he's killed people, and he's so scary. This kid that everybody thought was worthless and so goofy and not going to do anything, he's going to beat him. And he just said multiple times, I'm not backing down. I'm not falling. And he fights, and he fights, and he fights, and it's so crazy. It's one of my best things ever to watch. I watch it so many times. I go back every once in a while just to watch it again. And it's amazing. You really should go watch it yourself. Rock Lee versus Gaara. Look it up on YouTube or anywhere. But despite him fighting so hard, spoiler alert, maybe skip ahead a little bit if you don't want to hear this. But spoiler alert, he loses. Rock Lee loses. Even though they just built like 2.5 episodes up of hype of you thinking this kid's gonna do it just because he said he would. And I'm telling you, every time he said he would like get another power up. Like, it was insane. You didn't see this coming. But despite it, he lost. He made people proud. He made people respect him, and he actually did something at the very end of the fight that was amazing. But it didn't change the fact that he lost. He lost the fight. Even though willpower was so strong, every second, every frame of that show, I'm looking up at the poster. That poster's so sick. It really inspires me. But willpower just wasn't enough. Multiple times in that fight, he let his guard down. He thought it was going to happen because he said it was going to happen. There was a very specific moment in that fight where I think he closed his eyes. And they talk about it in the show. And when he closed his eyes, he let his guard down. I think it was from pain. But when he closed his eyes, like, it really cost him, I think, the entire fight, because he literally he closed his eye out of pain for a couple seconds. It gave him a false sense of confidence. And there's so many other examples, and I'll even give a personal example. There's been many times in my life where I thought that I would never, ever let something happen again. Maybe it's with diet or working out. I know in high school for me, especially my senior year, I ate like a rabbit, or maybe a cannibal rabbit, if that makes sense. But I would eat so good. I'd eat a lot of veggies. I'd meal prep. I was trying to just make myself into a machine. Like, I would eat so good. I don't think I ever had anything with added sugar. My family would sometimes get fried chicken, and I would rip the fried skin off the chicken and eat the chicken by itself. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone ever do that. And they thought it was funny. But that just shows the willpower I had to fight, to just get past the fact that I had bad things around me and I was just going to willpower everything. However, when I got to college, there was just more and more options to eat. See, at home, I had options to eat sweets and, fried chicken or things, my family would bring home, but there wasn't that many options. There wasn't an insane amount of options like there is here in college. And when I got to college, it was like the options I had at home, the options to eat unhealthy or throw my diet out the window, were like times 10. I mean, even here in college, there's an ice cream bar on the way out. Like, literally, you cannot leave the cafeteria before seeing an entire, rack of desserts and ice cream and everything. And there's 3 different, sections where you can get food, and a lot of times the food is not too good for you, and you really have to try your hardest to get the healthy options if you want to eat healthy all the time. There's an entire section dedicated to pizza, and we all know that pizza isn't the best thing for you. And being put in this environment, I folded. I started eating worse. Coming into college, I had one of the best physiques I've ever had. My fitness was on another level, and I really envy myself going into my freshman year because it looked like I was on steroids, how cut up I was. I wasn't as big as I am now, in terms of muscle, but gosh, I was shredded as a kid. Or as that kid, I was only 18. But man, I really wanted it, and I was just white-knuckling everything. Willpower, willpower, willpower. I think I was at my track every single day, all the time. Literally, I didn't know what college was going to bring in terms of training for track. So I was literally at my track every single day. I think I had a rest day on Sunday, but I was still at my track, either stretching out, having an easy session, or something. But when I got in an environment where the easy route was so prevalent, it was everywhere I looked, I could do something a little bit easier. Oh, well, I don't have to train all the time. Oh, I don't have to eat healthy all the time. There's other ways to get my protein. There's other ways to get my calories or energy. I used to always drink water, all the time. Water. I think water and almond milk, unsweetened almond milk, was the only thing I ever drank for a year. But being at college, I had so many options for drinks. I drank a lot of, I think, low sugar or no added sugar for juices or something like that. And those probably weren't the best for me. Now I drink diet sodas. Those probably aren't the best for me either. Just because I have more options. When I have more options, I tend to do worse. In my life, I find that when I eliminate the options, I see more results. I get closer to my goal of succeeding. This is how willpower isn't enough. It isn't enough because when you're in those settings and environments where you have options, you're going to fail. It's inevitable. It's absolutely inevitable. And it gave me a false sense of confidence, thinking that willpower was all I needed going into college. But I could say that easily when I didn't have enough options around me. Yeah, it's easy. to choose not to do something. Because what else was the other option? Probably eating something I didn't really even like the taste of at home. But here I can eat something that's bad and it tastes great. Tastes absolutely amazing. Don't want to drink water? Go drink some Coke Zero. I mean, hey, that's better than regular Coke, I think. But it's the fact that there's options. In my life, I've found that willpower just doesn't work when I have options. And it gives me the false sense of confidence that something's never ever going to happen. Because when options are there, I will fall. Like, I don't drink a lot of sugary beverages because I have diet soda or other things. But I still have the option every single day. Every single day I go in my cafeteria, I have the option to eat something really bad for me. And I won't lie. I will fall to that. Every once in a while, I will eat something that's very bad for me. And some people say that's okay, but you don't need to do that. Like, if you can have a better alternative and you eliminate the options, that's so much better for you. That's so much better for you. That's like being at home and just adding a different type of sweetener than sugar. Maybe you eat something that tastes amazing, that's savory instead of sweet, or just making better options for yourself. When I get older and I have my own place, I really want to eliminate options to ruin my diet or ruin my progress in any type of sport or anything. I want to have there be a cookie cutter way to do things and get success in my areas. I want to still enjoy things. I don't want to make my life robotic. But I think when you have the option to fail present in any given situation, it's going to cause you to fail. You can't sit in a room with something that you don't want any part of and expect yourself to never have any part of it. It's in the room with you. Eventually, if you're in there for long enough, you're going to have some part in that thing. Maybe you're in a room with somebody that you hate and you're like, I'm not going to look at them. Willpower is going to guide me to never look at them. You're going to look at them. Eventually, if you're in that room long enough, you're going to look at them. Because the option is there. Willpower will give you confidence to think that just because you said it, it's going to happen, but you let your guard down. You let your guard down in that confidence. And when the options are there, it sometimes happens even faster. Like, there's been times in my life where maybe I went so long without doing something and willpowering everything, and I thought that this was never going to happen. I just went a couple years without doing this. And then I get in a setting where, a lot of bad things are present, and boom, those years of doing something good just flew out the window. Because I was in a situation too long that I wasn't supposed to be in. You got to put yourself in better situations and circumstances. Because always, and I repeat, always, if the option is there, you will do it. And you can willpower through some things. Willpower can give you the confidence to think that, maybe if you're around someone for a day, you won't do anything bad with them, right? You won't do anything bad with them because it's just a day. But if you stay around that person for a week and you expect willpower to just carry you throughout that week because it's done so good for you for 3 years, you'd be surprised. That week could ruin your life. So it's best to just get up out of there. If you have the opportunity to eliminate your options, eliminate the chance for you to do bad, that's going to be so much better for you. I promise you. For instance, I don't like looking at any type of pornography. I do not like pornography or anything that is super temptatious for me. So what did I do? I have blocked my computer and phone off from even having I think there's almost no way for me to look at pornography on my computer and phone. And you may be wondering how I did that. And trust me, when you want to get rid of something and you want to eliminate your option and you try hard enough, you can do it. You just have to try. And I wanted to, because pornography or any other bad thing, there's ways to eliminate it out of your life, but we just love sitting around with it. And we think, we can willpower everything, but willpower isn't enough. I don't want to watch pornography or anything like that. But if I still have the option to every single day, like Everyone has the option to watch pornography. Literally, you can go to your Safari browser right now and just look it up. It's so easy. But I can't do that. I've literally made it to where I cannot do that. And any other thing in life, you gotta eliminate your options. Because if it's there and you have the option to go to your Safari browser and search that thing up, or go to the cafeteria and eat that bad thing, if you're in environments or situations where you can so easily do something bad will happen. You cannot willpower everything because you will be vulnerable. Think about if you're stressed, if you're tired. I mean, I'm an athlete. I always get stressed and tired, especially running track meets. There's times where I just am super vulnerable, and your willpower is so much harder to uphold when you're stressed, you're tired, you're sad, your emotions are getting the best of you. That's when willpower just doesn't work. Because your emotions sometimes take over your mind, and your control over your life, it just becomes less and less. Just because that's just how we are as humans. We have hormones and all these other things that run throughout our body and make us think and do things. That's why you have to eliminate these things. I know that I'm a human, and I know that I will fail so many times in my life. I know from trial and error and so many different experiences that I can't just say something's not going to happen or that I'm going to do something and then put myself in a situation that just contradicts that. If I say I don't want to watch pornography, yet I still have the option to watch pornography every single day, I don't care if I've went years without watching pornography. I'm still probably going to watch it. And if I don't, it's a miracle. But it's a very 99% chance I will. I don't want to base my life and base everything on a 1% chance. And that's what willpower is. Willpower is that 1% chance. And that's what's so inspiring and motivating, because it takes that 1% and it puts it on paper in the form of stories or books or movies or shows. But don't base your life on 1%. Take the precautions. Set up those walls. Do those things you need to do. Eliminate the options. Willpower is not going to save you. It is not going to make you into the person that you want to be. You have to eliminate distractions. If you want to make a business, if you want to start a podcast like I'm doing, if you want to do anything, you have to eliminate things in your life that are taking up your time, your space, your attention. You got to. Because willpower, saying you're going to do something or saying something's going to happen or it's not going to happen, is not enough. I have fallen too many times. I have seen people fall, like Peter in the Bible, like Rock Lee in Naruto. It's not enough. You got to put up walls. You got to eliminate those things. If you want to eat better, stop being in environments where you have the option to eat bad. If you want to stop watching pornography, eliminate the option to watch pornography. If there's any other thing you want to do, you have to position yourself and realize right now, today, after watching this video, that willpower is not enough. It's a great thing. It's a tool. You can use it. But like I said, don't base your life on 1%. It's great. It's great to hear about. It's great to see. But it doesn't matter. I want my life to be something that impacts people, motivates and inspires people. But I still have to take the necessary precautions to be the best version of myself. I don't want to be a 1% person. I want to be a 99% person that just handles things well. Handle it well. And the first step to handling life well is using your willpower, but realizing that willpower is not enough. Thank you guys so much for consuming this, watching this, listening to this, wherever you're getting it from. And I hope you're able to learn something from this. And I hope you're able to position yourself in more scenarios and areas, environments, situations where you realize that you don't need willpower. If you're around a great group of people, a great group of friends, people that want the best for you, instead of people that only complain or they only want bad for you, you may be able to succeed a little bit better. If you're not in an environment that has a bunch of candy or sweets or pastries, you may be able to get closer to that body or that fitness level or diet that you want. And there's so many other examples and analogies I can use, but I want you to go out and find your best example and analogy for yourself. That was episode 2 of Dodo's Den. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope to see you in the next episode, and hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace.